What's up, gamers? Gam3gr8r here, along with Tiny Tina. Everybody knows her.
What's up,
Now,
guys?
We're just had an interview. Well, we didn't. Mashable just had an interview with Luke Smith talking about the weapon roll system and how that is going to be integrated into Destiny 2. Now, for a lot of you who have played Destiny 1, whether you play just a little bit or continue playing now, you're always searching for those god rolls, especially if you're a big PvPer. Just like, Major Tina here. But before we get off into the discussion, we're going to catch you guys up. So I'm going to give the too long didn't read version, but I will give the whole interview in the description. It's Luke Smith, who is the creative director of Destiny 2. And he says, there aren't random rolls on weapons anymore. Better Devils is the Crucible hand cannon in Destiny 2. And what it has on it is what it has on it. Period. It says you can look at all the hand cannons now, for example, and track the data. It says, he continues to say, it's going to give us more flexibility to do per item tuning. That's something we hadn't done before because of the way we were building the first game. Then the Mashable interviewer continues on and says, the Mashable interviewer says, well, how can my second, third, and 10th... No, that's Luke Smith. My apologies. It says, how can my second, third, and 10th Better Devils hand cannon be interesting? Well, that's a question we should be asking and answering as quickly as possible. Or quickly as we can. It says, we have ideas. Well, I would like nothing more than to share those ideas with you. We're up against a deadline. And I don't know if they'll make it for our September 6th date. But we have some ideas that we're pretty excited about. End quote. Now, taking that, I guess a weapon will always have static rolls. And by that, it's kind of like the raid weapons of Wrath of the Machine, or even the Crota's End and Vault of Glass weapons. They're always going to have the same rolls no matter what you get. Tina, how do you feel about that?
I don't know. It could be good for the community, or it could be bad for the community.
Yep.
It wasn't until you pointed out earlier when we were talking about this that the rest of the RPGs already do this. I never knew that.
Like Final Fantasy VII, Buster Sword always starts with the same thing. Like Final Fantasy X, I guess I'm just talking about Final Fantasies, but the original trilogy of Mass Effect, each Valkyrie or whatever, they're always going to have the same perks and stats on it. I mean, so like, this isn't new to RPGs, but it is new to Destiny. Like, I guess, I don't know, like, do whites and blues, are they static rolls?
I don't know.
I generally always just shard them as soon as I see them, right?
I think I've only ever leveled them up once, and that's because I had no choice.
In the first playthrough,
yeah.
Right? That was going on 3 years ago. I guess we decided on like a little pros and cons list. We gave it a little bit of thought, but we didn't think about it for months. Now, the con typically is the way we play Destiny now is we're always searching for the god-rolled weapon, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess there's just now going to be a god weapon. Maybe. Maybe they're striking more of a balance. We don't know about that part, but...
I would hope it would be more of the balance.
Right. Well, they definitely whether they're going with the balance, they're definitely trying to make things easier on them to balance.
Yeah.
Like the clusters in the...
I think that would be good, but it could also hurt them as well. I mean...
For those of you listening, Tina's thinking.
I'm thinking. I don't know. I don't even look at the perks sometimes, as you can tell in my vault.
Right.
I'm not a perk person. I go with what feels good, what I like using, what I see doing damage, I guess. So the perks won't really bother me as much as it will be for the players in PvP and PvE that look for perks, that grind for them. So I mean, it's a con for probably 90% of the community, but for people like me, I don't think it... I want to say it won't matter right now.
Yeah, I mean, people could... they're typically now they're looking for God rolled eyes Lunas, but later on, well, in Destiny 2, they could just be looking for playing Crucible and hoping to get a IS Luna drop, because if that was the the figurative God roll weapon, or the it weapon right now at the moment.
I guess it kind of makes you wonder if the rolls are just going to be across the board the same, if the drop rate is going to go way down.
Right.
Or how they're going to keep you from getting 900 million of the same weapon.
Well, they did say they're trying to find a better balance from vanilla Destiny, where you would get a purple Ingram and then it turned out to be a blue. They don't want it. They don't want it to be that bad, but they don't. They're also trying to find it to where now, if you just log in, you get a legendary Ingram for no reason, right? So I guess they're trying to strike a balance in that. One of the things that's brought up a lot, well, since this interview has come up, is that will decrease the playing time, right?
I wholeheartedly believe it will. I mean, you got people like Cobra, which is my cousin. He plays on PlayStation. He just switched over from Xbox, and he has remade characters just for the bounties, to get the bounties again that week.
Right.
He's on his third hunter that he's made just in 2 weeks, trying to get God roll weapons. So I think it would cut down on people playing as much, because there's nothing. I say there's nothing, but we don't know everything about Destiny 2 right now.
Right.
To grind for, really.
Well, with them having static rolls.
I mean, but like you said, it could create, if they do make it the drop of certainly
Right.
slimmer, the grind would still be there. If you didn't get that gun that week or whatever.
Or hopefully just, I don't know, playing. Like you were saying, there's a lot of uncertainty to it. Also, it will help with balance, right? If they see, for instance, before this recent balance patch, clever dragons were everywhere and had a 0.8 second kill time, or the God roll ones, anyways, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to hurt the clever dragons and bring them back to normal usage, they had to nerf the whole archetype. And now, what he said in this, they're able to specifically target one weapon against, since each weapon is handcrafted.
I mean, I personally think, looking back over the last couple years of Destiny, that they bit off more than they could chew.
Right.
In a sense. They had to continuously nerf guns, and then they had to buff them, and then they had to nerf them again. And then, end of this year, they just took our special.
Right.
Whatever. Fight for your special. So I think it could be a good thing. I mean, I don't know if it would come back to bite them in the butt.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess we just gotta wait for Destiny 2 to see that.
Right. I mean, I guess we'll know more come the demo, which, about 17 more days, right?
Mm-hmm.
July 16th, 17th, something like that.
17th for PlayStation. 18th for Xbox. And that's pre-order.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And then open beta comes later on, right?
I think the 20th, open beta comes out the 20th. And then it all comes to a close the 23rd. I believe. I'm correct on those dates.
So, what is your overall... How could that harm the community? Did we already... No.
Harm them? Having the same perks? To me, I don't know. I don't look for God rolls. Right. I have quite a few God rolls that I just don't like. I don't like them. I use the ill will because... in 6s because it's easier. I don't like the slow time to fire off. People love that gun.
Right.
I personally, like I said, I don't look for God rolls. The perks don't matter to me. But I think, as far as hurting it, I don't think there's a whole lot of bad that could happen. No. Other than people being upset that there's no really...
As long as Destiny, or whoever it is, vanilla Destiny, you were on, you would play Nightfall, and you knew you would get a reward out of that. The raid, sometimes we would get reward out of that, and Crucible was not rewarding at all.
No. RNG was not with us.
No. So, I guess if loot drops as horrible as that, which they said they want it to be a little bit better than that. If we don't get much loot, then maybe people will play. But also, people like to see a carrot on a stick, and also sometimes get that carrot.
Mm-hmm. I think the best I could explain it was, like you said, when the Clever Dragon Matador phase was, before they did all this nerfing and buffing and everything. We would go into Crucible, which is all I play, but we would go into Crucible six men deep.
Mm-hmm.
And just grinding for that Matador. Just any Matador would do. And it would maybe drop once every 2-3 matches or whatever, but people would get so mad because they wouldn't either getting a Matador or wouldn't getting the God Roll, and they drop out, they quit. And then you might see them on the next couple of days, or you might not. I think that could hurt, maybe.
Right.
But with no God Roll is like put in their face, so to speak.
But then they would just be looking for you getting mad that they're not getting the Matador.
Yeah, the actual gun, instead of the perks. I don't know. I think there's still going to be some hate there, and then
some people's going to like it, some people's not.
Yeah,
right?
Destiny comes under fire quite a bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Quite a bit. So I fully expect them to kind of come under fire for whatever decision they make.
It also makes me wonder, if a Gallahorn will always drop in a certain spot. Kind of, you didn't get too far into Borderlands, but for each boss, that boss always drops a certain weapon. Kind of
like it does in the raids now.
Huh?
Pretty much kind of how it does in the raids now.
Like a final boss, it'll drop a primary, but you're not always guaranteed which primary you want. The kind of like Doc Mercy, he dropped an infinity pistol.
Oh, so specific
right
weapons.
But when I typically played a lot of Borderlands, the drop rates were criminal. Now, I'm talking about I played for hours trying to get that weapon and nothing happened. Do you think that would make... Borderlands still has a fairly good following, and there's a lot of love for Borderlands 3 to be coming out. And that may not change the system too much. Do you think people would grasp onto that kind of architecture?
I don't know. I don't think so. But speaking of Borderlands, a lot of people from Destiny either came or go back to Borderlands.
Right.
I've seen that a lot in the community. So maybe they would. It still has, like you said, a huge following.
Kind of we already have it. We kind of do already have that. Bring up Ice Luna a lot. That's one that's popping in my head. But you don't play strikes for an Ice Luna, right? You're grinding Crucible for an Ice Luna. That's where it drops. So I guess we still do kind of have that.
In a sense.
Yeah.
I guess it's one of the things I hope they carry over to Destiny 2. There's still some things in Destiny 1 that I would like to see in Destiny 2.
Right.
And I'm hoping,
as long as there's a gigantic loot pool.
Oh, it's going to grab people in.
I hope there is the amount of guns increase exponentially.
If they're not doing specific perks, it kind of makes you wonder. They don't have to sit there and fine tune any gun, pretty much. I guess I'm not a video game developer, so I don't know what that entails. But they don't have to continuously go in and tweak it and fix these little bugs or whatever they have to do. So maybe they could create more guns.
Hopefully, I sure hope so.
That would be awesome.
Also, it would. If we don't have, I'm not sure of the different combinations of perk sets on Destiny 1 per gun. But since it's set rolls now, maybe we can have a lot more vault space. Like, we would only have to keep, one gun instead of, here's a PvP roll for this gun, and here's a PvE roll.
You're not going to have vault space in Destiny 2.
I want vault space in Destiny 2.
I'm going to write the creators of Destiny 2, and I'm going to ask them just to dedicate a tree to you on any planet, or every planet, so you can just store your stuff in it. Just, specific
Give me a
things
Trump
everywhere.
space.
He needs this.
Oh, no. I'm probably going to end up thinking of stuff later on, but I have my overall concerns, but I think Bungie will handle it much better. I mean, they're probably nerfing stuff right now.
Probably. Or, cutting your ammo down sizes.
Only one person gets the power ammo now, right? How do you feel about that?
What?
Only one person gets the power ammo now.
What? Like increasable?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. Nuh-uh. That's awful.
Well,
I mean, I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, there is always that one person on a team though, that you trust to get all the kills. Whether if anybody likes to admit this, there is that one person on that team. You're like, yeah, if I die, he's got me. So, I don't know. Maybe that wouldn't be a bad thing. I mean, I kill myself. I'm in the top 1% for suicides because of rocket launchers. Okay, I still use them. Yeah. I die a lot. So maybe you or somebody else should get the heavy. I don't know. Or what would you say it was?
Power ammo.
Power ammo. I really don't know how I feel about that. I still haven't came to terms with the 4v4.
Me as a casual crucibler, maybe. I don't like it because it's more competitive. But as a competitive person, well, when big YouTubers, not us, but when the private matches first dropped for Rise of Iron and for the major Destiny thing, they were saying 4v4 felt a lot more competitive than 3v3 did. Just felt it was a little faster paced.
Well, I have my concerns about it. I know we're getting a little bit off beat just a little bit, but
oh yeah.
My concern is when it comes to whatever it's called. Like I know they said they're not calling it Trials of Osiris. So what did they say they were going to call it? Or have they?
They haven't actually said it. It was a leak saying it was supposed to be Trials of the Nine.
But right now there is no shortage of Sherpas. There's no shortages of streamers.
Having to carry one more person would probably be a little bit harder on them, right?
But here's where I'm going with this. A lot of people get paid to do this stuff. There's whole web pages out here for this stuff. I think it was you that sent me that, or Zombie, or somebody sent me that. Now, could you imagine running up against 4 people and 3 of those were stacked? Oh. That's my worry.
Instead of I was actually thinking on the one Sherpa carrying 3 person.
I really don't see that
3
happening.
people, but you're thinking 3 people carrying 1 person. Yeah. Oh my god. That terrified me. I guess that's why I don't play Crucible.
That extra person in Trials would be awesome, but the thought of going against a team that's so stacked that I'm not going to be able to get a kill, it scares me. I don't know.
That happens to me often. Especially with these potentially well-rolled weapons. Maybe they're just all handcrafted to be garbage. Every weapon is just so garbage that none of them stand out.
Not anymore, they don't.
No, I was talking about for Destiny 2. I don't know. We'll have to see more about.
I hate the snippets they're doing. I hate the they're giving us little bitty information like snippets. Here, take this, chew on this for a little while, and then bringing in something else. Not fully giving a whole thought on anything that they're leaking out. I mean, it's a great thing. It's creating hype. Mm-hmm. And it's getting people talking, and that's one thing.
It's getting people constantly talking.
Yeah, right? I guess it's a great business way to do business, I guess. It drives me nuts. I want to know the whole story right now. I don't want to wait. I just want to know the whole story right now.
Right. Hopefully, they will strike the right balance on the weapon rolls. It's hunting for God-rolled weapons right now on Destiny. While I have spot space, kept me playing Destiny, right? But then not getting them burned me out often.
And that's probably what's wrong with the community now. I mean, it's a drought. It's been this way since Rise of Iron dropped.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
9 months ago.
No, I do miss everybody you used to play with.
Oh yeah, somewhat.
And I'm still playing Destiny and PvP all the way. And I think you're right. I think people just got burned out. Either not getting the gun, or getting it and it not being the roles they wanted.
Hopefully there's plenty of weapons. There'll always be that YouTuber that we'll put something out there that they have the best weapon in the game, and then it'll be the hot shit for the next week.
Yep.
Or whatever it is.
Flopping
Not hating
to the
on them, but
masses.
right.
I mean, it's like this. What's good for you is not good for me,
Mm-hmm.
in all sense. In the whole world of things. A lot of these weapons have god rolls that I really don't care for. Like, give me my explosive rounds, yo. I'm good.
Right.
I'm good. Like, everybody's always like, why are you using like, explosive rounds instead of XYZ? Because explosive rounds is knocking dude's dome off. He can't snipe me from across the map because I'm hitting him with it. Explosive rounds. I don't know how to be in Destiny 2. I'm excited to see it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess you got to hear, guys. Gamers. We were both just indecisive on it. Like, think about anything better or worse about it. Hopefully it becomes a better balanced game. And there's no season. Hopefully there isn't a season of weapons, what they typically done in Destiny 1. You know, hand cannons had their reign. You know, if for anybody that wants to argue that the perks should be different for the same gun or something, I guess kind of like I brought up, or everybody will flock to the masses anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Like when House of Wolves and Thorn, Hawk Moon, and Last Word reigned supreme. But we had re-rollable weapons then. You could just go to the gunsmith and re-roll it.
I really like that. I really liked when you could do that. I don't miss
it was
it
cool,
now.
But we were all rolling for the same weapon perks anyways.
Yeah.
So it feeds back to,
It's easier.
they have to make the weapons good enough for us to want them. I guess balance it also, so they're not always the last word, 0.33 time to kill.
I mean, if we're being honest, Destiny's not going to get it right, or Bungie's not going to get it right the first time. When this
No.
game launches, it's going to be so many broken things.
Oh.
Prepare for Badger and all the other error codes. But they will eventually get it right. They usually do. I think the only thing that I just really wanted to throw my controller and be done with the game is this new meta. It feels forced, and I don't enjoy it.
No, me
But
either.
I still enjoy playing with the people I play with. It doesn't stop me, even though it makes me so mad. So I think I have high hopes that Bungie will get it right this time. Maybe doing the one set perk, will help them focus on different things like vault space or whatever space, or maybe even newer weapons to release at different intervals of time.
Yeah, totally. Like we're just thinking about vanilla right now, but we have that Rasputin DLC or the Cyrus DLC, which is the first one. And I don't remember what DLC Part 2 is. Or maybe
I'm
even
sure they're
like
going to make this last for a while.
probably.
I mean, they did Destiny 1. I mean, people are just now quitting Destiny 1 pretty much. I mean, there's some people that were like, no, I'm done with this before House of Wolves.
You're right.
But either they came back or they were just completely done with it to begin with. What gun are you going to miss? That's what I want to know.
Oh yeah.
You had to have one gun that you're going to miss in Destiny 2.
My Vision of Confluence.
Oh,
That is my go-to.
Vision of Confluence. I used to say it was Mida.
Right. Oh man.
I needed it. That's whenever I started my Xbox account, I didn't want to do PvP without my Mida.
Right.
But now, I was never really a hand cannon person until...
Well, look, exotics, they have static rolls. They're always drop with the same ones.
Yeah.
Right.
But it wasn't until about 3 weeks ago that I got into hand cannons, and now my Magaloop. I've had this Magaloop since forever ago,
Oh yeah.
and I never used it because I didn't like hand cannons. I just picked it up.
Well, I don't think anybody really liked them back when they had like.
Yeah. I don't know. It was between that or my Exile student.
You know, people always loved them, but it was like the randomness of them hitting.
Yeah.
Hopefully stuff like that doesn't happen again.
I think that it made me more proud, or the most proud, watching people bring out their weapons again. That they enjoyed playing with. They never got to play with since, what was it, year one weapons that they brought back this year.
Oh yeah.
Like the hype was so real, and it was just so much fun. Like seeing the side that they were in year one.
Also, I do want to say it's not just the weapons that are static. Armor is static also.
Does that mean everybody will not be grinding for that, what was it, tier 12 build?
Like, that may be different. Maybe. I don't know. But we were talking perks when he said weapons and armor. Perks. So, I'm not sure. But one thing we also know nothing about is the one where he said, how can my second, third, or even 10th better devils, the Destiny 2 Crucible, and can it be interesting instead of just like, okay, well, I got another better devils, so I'm just going to shard it. How would you I guess I'm putting you on the spot without thinking too much about it, but besides the perks, and also, we don't know anything about weapon mods. We know mods are a thing, but we don't know what they do. Like, they can make it silencer, or they can maybe increase the range or something.
I'll probably get hung out to dry for this, but I'm trying my best to think of this.
Like maybe weapon skins or different looks for each weapon.
And if I'm wrong, please feel free in the comments to correct me. But Titanfall 2 and Battlefield 1, those are pretty much the. And I played a little bit Rainbow Six Siege. Those are pretty much the only games I've ever played. I've never played Call of Duty or whatever, as far as first-person shooters. They don't really... They're mods. All the guns are the same. Of course, I don't think they have perks either, though. And on Titanfall 2, they do. Little perks you can switch out or whatever. But they have mods. Like on Battlefield 1, silencers, better scopes. Things like that. So maybe Destiny will follow in the suit of that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Well, how would you change it? Well, how would you make, without changing the perks?
Make it personal?
Well,
if I'm being honest, whenever they did the chroma and the skins and stuff, the exotic ornaments, I think I maybe used two. One on Xbox to turn my icebreaker into camouflage, just because I was like, yeah.
Right.
And then I think I did it once or twice on PlayStation. I know the Telesto and the Necrochasm are the only two. So I really wasn't that interested in modding my guns. I've got chroma. Just filling up my vault.
Chroma.
And I have the ornaments for the guns. I have those sitting in the vault. Now, I'm not using them. I have no use for them. Now, the Trials with Cyrus ornaments, that's all over my Titan. But as far as, I don't know, modding the guns is really not top priority for me. Now, I might find it exciting if that's something they decide to do in, Destiny 2, just to stand out from the crowd, because on Destiny 1, it's my green shader that used to make me stand out in Year 2.
No, they like the green.
The green rhino.
Yeah, the green rhino.
The green rhino on my Titan. But I don't know. It'd be interesting to see, to say the least. I don't think the armor will be that big of a deal.
I don't know if there's mods on armor, but we've definitely seen mods.
The perks.
Mods what? Oh, okay.
Because, the exotic, you have one exotic perk. Before you, level it up or whatever. So, I don't see how that would differ any.
Well, the perks change on exotic armor.
Except for the exotic.
Yeah, for that one thing to make it. It's exotic perk, right? I think they would just go with something generic. Like maybe the weapon skins or something. Not trying to build up too much hype for it. Just trying to think about it realistically.
I think they're going to stick with what they know. I hope that that's my biggest wish for Destiny 2. I'm excited to play it no matter what, but my biggest wish is my biggest hope is that they learn their lessons from Destiny 1. There's so many lessons to be had in Destiny 1 that I think, when they started doing these nerfs and these buffs this last time, they kind of learned not to go overboard with, so to speak, nerfing and buffing the weapons. So hopefully they found their balance in Destiny 2 for the weapons, because I'm tired of the nerfs.
Just a food for thought. Would a perfectly balanced game be achievable, or would that be too boring? We'll answer that later, but something to think on. I guess people in the comments can say that, or maybe next
And
time
give
we
their
do
thoughts.
one. Yeah,
I'd be interested in hearing something like that. I've never, I don't think I've ever played a perfectly balanced game.
I don't think there ever has been, not to my knowledge.
But Bungie, we got hope in you.
Oh yeah. Well, that
sums up all my, except for, the only thing on my positive is less turmoil in the community. The hate mail is real when somebody does really crappy in the PvP and they get the god roll. People really enjoy sending the hate mail over that.
That's a lot better than what it was in House of Wolves.
Yeah. So that's only the pros I have. The cons is pretty much the same thing. I mean,
yeah.
This could go either way. This could be really bad, or this could be really good.
Well, before we close out, I would like to give a shout out to everybody with the Guardian Con. Guardian Con stream?
Mm-hmm.
How much did they end up raising?
Oh, I'm gonna lie if I try to say it. 1.2 million, and then 1 point.
Roman closed it out and it had like 150,000.
I donated earlier that week, and then I donated right at the end.
Yeah.
And when the stream went off, it had not even gotten to my donation yet.
Okay, you had like a minute left.
I had a minute left when I hit donate again, and I mean it was just flooding. Professor Roman, he's like, I think they said 1.2 million, and then some change or whatever. But they raised enough to run St. Jude's for half a day, the complete facility. It's amazing.
Fantastic. For anybody ever, especially right now and probably later on, when everybody is saying Destiny is dead, like, play another game, like, we could point back to that. If Destiny was dead, there's no way we could have raised. Well,
I mean, even if Destiny's dead, the community's still here.
Yeah.
And I've heard, on both sides of the fence, the community sucks, the community's great. And I've never, you get the random hate mail. People get heated in Crucible, or they get heated anywhere, or whatever, and they feel the need, express that. But I've never had a horrible experience to the point where I just don't want to play Destiny anymore.
I have. It's called Trials of Osiris.
Yeah, you just rage quit and leave us in there. But the community pulls together, and that's what matters. I was actually telling somebody the other day, people can say whatever they want about the gaming community as a whole. But one thing they can't say is 90% of the community doesn't have a heart of gold.
Right.
I mean, people were giving their last dollars to, make sure that goal happened. And I mean, it was really crazy. They said, we're going to try to raise 1 million, and people were pushing them back. They're like, you're not going to be able to raise 1 million. And I guess they seen that as like a challenge. And they went 200,000 over. I mean, it just goes to show, how amazing the community is. I always said that Destiny probably has one of the most loyal communities. As far as, like, the charities and all that. It warms my heart up to gold. Probably because we're parents.
Oh, yeah. Everything you said. I don't think I could top that. It was beautiful. So, congratulations out to everybody who participated. And for those of you who had no idea, hopefully you'll know about it next year sometime.
And there's always streamers on Twitch.
Right.
That are doing St. Jude's charity streams. Many of them have a panel in their stream that takes you to directly, to St. Jude's so you can donate. If that's something y'all are interested in, find your favorite.
Yeah, it doesn't have to
Twitch.
be just that Guardian Con thing.
Oh,
you
yeah.
can do it,
And if you're a streamer, you can do it yourself. If that's something, you really want to do. But it's definitely something to watch unfold. If you're not in tears by the second minute, then you're probably heartless.
But to go ahead and close it out, that's Gam3gr8r's and Tiny Tina's thoughts on the static weapons and Luke Smith Mashable interview. Again, I'll put the description or the interview in there. Tina, anything you want to say before we close it out?
Nope. Bye, y'all.
Well, whether you are playing a dead game, Destiny, or anything new's coming out, or anything old, keep on gaming.